I never thought I would get to see you play Old Deuteronomy in Cats, the Jellicle Ball. We got a subtitle now.
Yes, and the subtitle, the subdeck, has much more nuance and passion than the original title. This is not a spoiler, but there are no whiskers,
No whiskers, okay.
no fur,
Okay,
no tails,
okay.
just a bunch of cats.
Cats.
Yeah.
You're a cat.
I'm a cat,
You've always
you're
been
a
a cool
cat.
cat. I'm a cool
Right,
cat.
cool cat.
Yeah, we're cats.
Yes,
We're just
absolutely.
hanging out, we're cats.
Yeah.
Singing some André De Shields songs. You are. And so Old Deuteronomy is the king cat.
Well, I think more specifically, Old Deuteronomy is the parent cat. He is the DNA from which all the other cats come
Wow.
and aspire to.
Right.
Yeah.
So the original Cats without the subtitle, it was a bunch of cats telling about their lives for Old Deuteronomy, and Old Deuteronomy chose one of them to take to the Heaviside Layer.
Right.
And the whole time it was kind of a contest to find out, you know, who was going to get on the tire. It was a tire on stage.
Right.
And go to heaven, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of what we dealt with. So now we're set in the ballroom world,
Right.
which many people know from Pose or from Paris is Burning.
Right.
Those are sort of the mainstream pop culture references. We're seeing a lot of people from different worlds and cultures coming into our theater world.
Yes.
It's a very queer cast, it looks from the
Yes,
outside.
I would say that.
What is it like for you to get to work in a room like that and to get to sort of explore relationships with new kinds of performers? And what's it like for you?
I'm open to the experience and to the experiment. Because if indeed revolution or great change is on today's menu, I want to be on the avant-garde edge of the change. I don't want to be bringing up the rear. And the magic of this process is combining theater and all of its process with the discipline of ballroom. And it's going to sizzle, absolutely sizzle.
It's one of these things, when I first heard about it, I immediately said, what? That's crazy. And then the minute you start actually unpacking it, it's brilliant. And it feels like you might actually just be completely changing the course of history with this show. Where did it come from? Where did this idea come from?
We began to dream about cats in a queer context. And the more time we spent with the material, the more self-evident it was that Cats is about a competitive ball, and Ballroom is indeed about competitive balls. I mean, it really, it's right there in the text. And the grand prize of ascending to the Heaviside Layer, everybody's competing within specific moments, but it all leads to the ultimate winner. And
But by the way, when you say like break down the text, this show, one of the first lines is, "Jellicle cats come out tonight."
Absolutely.
Which is incredible.
I
mean, there's
it's
so many
right
things
there.
like that Andrew Lloyd Webber and his collaborators never thought of, but they're just there.
Feline, fearless, faithful, and true, have become like these core values that are shared across both ballroom and the world of cats.
Jellicle cats are queens of the night. It just goes on and on.
It goes on and on, yeah.
You two both come from the ballroom world. You've done a lot of real ballroom choreography and staging.
We're the real thing.
Yeah, you're authentic. But what is it like sort of structuring something theatrical over a span of a couple hours under the structure of the ballroom?
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, but put a bunch of queens in the room and you'll get some drama. You have to really think about it too. I mean, ballroom in itself is, we're always performing.
But yeah, I think it's a performance. You're gonna take the structure of the musical theater and the structure of ballroom and mesh together. Because like you have people like André De Shields in theater and Chastity and ballroom, and you put them two together, you can kind of create something new and something magical.
But it is a leap to take the musical theater side of it though. and the discipline that the musical theater side
And then,
has.
all the things you put on yourself. Am I good enough? Do I have to be better than? And all those things.
Yeah, I think those questions, those feelings do come about. So they have to get past that in order to then find the perfect balance between the musical theater world and the ballroom world.
And same for musical theater.
Yeah.
They feel, coming into ballroom, am I doing it right? Is this the right way? They want to make sure they live up to what the standards are.
So when you heard about this production and sort of the idea of bringing in a lot of queer talent of color, and setting it in this world that you know very well, what was your first thought?
At first I was like, how? Ballroom being a marginalized community and everything, sometimes, it could teeter on appropriation, versus if you're gonna be authentic with it. And I was like, what is this? And then when I watched Cats, and I was like, I see the correlation. And especially with Grisabella, for me, ageism in ballroom is a big thing. I am an older girl in the scene. And also I tied it with my life of, I used to be in theater, I used to be on stage. It's been years coming back to something, and seeing what that reception is going to be. So for ballroom, I tied it to the older femme queens who come back, and sometimes they don't get the best reception. It's a very parallel, it's very close, the Cats and ballroom.
Have you ever gone to a ball up in Harlem in the height of?
I'm 78 years of age. I've attended balls.
And Lord knows, André De Shields knows how to strike a pose. We know that. Are we going to get to see any great choreography and?
Well, yeah.
From you?
Great choreography is not the wheelhouse of old Deuteronomy.
Correct.
However, as is my wont, I'm going to represent the welderly.
The welderly?
Yeah.
No, inform me. What are the welderly?
The welderly are old people who are still kicking ass. Okay? Come on.